guys, it is Ivy and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hello, my name is Ivy, also known as Intuitive Ivy, and here on this channel and on my TikTok and on my Instagram, same thing. I am the co-owner and co-founder of an amazing spiritual business company called Unearthly Treasures, where we make handmade candles, earrings, jewelries, accessories, spell jar kits, all sorts of that stuff, all of that spiritual, awesome spiritual stuff. I also have a podcast called The Woo Woo Podcast, a podcast for the spiritually open-minded, which I will also post down below. Hi, my name is Ivy. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, this channel is all about the magical, the mystical, and the supernatural. So if you are into one or all three of those things, consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. I usually post 3 times a week. Mondays are for the magical, Wednesdays are for the mystical, and Fridays are for the supernatural. Today we are going to be talking about some haunted dolls. We've covered quite a few. I feel like we've covered a few haunted dolls. We've talked about that doll story on TikTok. We've talked about Annabelle, and I've talked about my experiences with my doll that actually went missing. I got an actual replica of like the actual Annabelle doll. She's gone, she's missing. But today we're going to be talking about 5 of the most haunted dolls in the world, including a doll that I just haven't brought up because this one truly terrifies me, but we're going to be talking a bit about it in this video. Number 5, we have Lily. Lily is apparently a doll that was found in the early 1600s, and she was sort of like this pagan tradition. People would make handmade figurines like Lily, and they were left out to basically keep away local spirits. The original Lily doll was delivered to a paranormal group, and the owner of the original Lily doll literally stated, "I found her outside my door one morning with a note that said to not put her by mirrors or in the same room that I sleep in. My cat would not go near her and my dog would just stare. At times, I would be woken up from a dead sleep smelling burnt toast or sometimes a sweet fruity smell. Her favorite color is red. That is all I know." So upon doing further research, they found out that the original Lily doll was made to mimic this countess named Elizabeth Bathory de East, and in doing so, the tradition stated that she contained part of the countess's menace, because Elizabeth Bathory was a noblewoman that was actually condemned in the 1600s for killing over 650 people, and is often referred to as the Blood Countess and Countess Dracula. And since then, they made replicas of the Lily doll, who is now basically considered a Halloween tradition. So if you guys celebrate Christmas, you guys might have heard of the whole elf on a shelf. It's this little elf that comes, visits your kids during the month of December, and you move him around, and he's basically supposed to be a spy for Santa. Lily is the Halloween, kind of the Halloween version of that. You want to place Lily in different places because she's going to keep the spirits away and continue to keep the spirits away. And supposedly when you buy your very own Lily doll, she comes with her own unique personality, and you don't know exactly how she's gonna be because every Lily's different. I bought my own Lily doll. I'm waiting for her to come in. She hasn't come in yet. Number 4 we have, and I could be saying this wrong, and if I'm saying it wrong, I'm so sorry. OKIKU, who is located in the Menenji Temple of Hokkaido, Japan. So according to a Japanese myth in 1918, there was a teen named Akishi Suzuki who bought a large doll from Hokkaido Providence for her younger sister, OKIKU. So the two became inseparable, and OKIKU gave the doll her very own name. She was about 40 centimeters tall and dressed in this kimono. Its hair was raven black, and it was trimmed to roughly a shoulder length. Her eyes would have that thing where, like, if you would walk back and forth, it would look like it's following you around. Her eyes would have that and have this, like, very real creepy quality to them. Beautiful. She was mesmerizing. She was spellbinding. She was, a couple of years later, OKIKU died. Her family then came to believe that OKIKU's ghost occupied the doll. The thing would start moving around, and not only would it move around, but the doll's hair started to grow. The doll now resides in a really special shrine, and the priest of the temple actually regularly cut OKIKU's hair. That still continues to grow. Next, at number 3, we have Annabelle. Now, I am not going to go into detail about Annabelle because I have a whole video dedicated to her and her story. But Annabelle is basically a doll that supposedly a woman named Donna got from her mom, who she thought was possessed by this little girl named Annabelle Higgins, only to find out that there was something a lot more malicious residing in the doll. So they ended up calling Ed and Lorraine Warren, very famous known demonologists, who grabbed the doll and took it to their museum, where she still now resides in. And unfortunately the museum is closed now, so you can't visit Annabelle like you used to be able to, which sucks because I really always wanted to go see the real Annabelle doll. But that is Annabelle. Number 2, we have Letta. Letta I put at number 2 because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because growing up in the 90s, you're so used to like the Goosebumps doll. You know what I'm talking about? That dummy doll? That ventriloquist doll? You're used to that doll and it's just so creepy, and like now it's just this fear that kind of was instilled in you since childhood. But this doll is one of those dolls, and their name is Letta, short for Letta Me Out. Letta Me Out was originally found under a house in Australia. This was 46 years ago, actually. And the owner, Carrie Walton, apparently, he named the doll Letta Me Out because she repeatedly will just automatically start shouting, "Letta me out, Letta me out." So he named her Letta Me Out, or Letta for short. Now, Walton states, "I reckon he walks in the nighttime. We came in here as a new house and I've never heard so many strange things in my life. I reckon house objects often shift overnight, that the doll has actually moved in front of people," which is terrifying, "and that there are scuff marks around the house." Scuff marks around the house. Like little tiny feet. So Carrie, the owner of Letta, actually went to a psychic, and the psychic ended up telling him that Letta was basically owned by a little boy that drowned. As he was doing this interview with the psychic, the wall clock fell, as if to like confirm, like, yes, this doll is tied to the little boy. Number 1, at number 1, we have a doll that literally scares me, and it's Robert the doll. So the story of Robert the doll dates back all the way to the early 1900s, when a young boy named Eugene Otto was given the doll by a servant who worked for his parents' home. Now Eugene, who everyone called Gene, named the doll Robert and quickly became attached to his new friend. The first hint that something was out of the ordinary was when one night Gene woke up to find Robert staring at him at the end of his bed. Moments later, his mother was awakened by his scream and his cries for help. Gene cried for help, begging his mom to rescue him. When she was finally able to get that locked door open, because the door was suddenly locked, she saw poor Gene curled up on his bed, his room in shambles, and Robert at the end of his bed. Gene Otto ended up passing away in 1974, but then a new owner moved into the house, and their 10-year-old daughter was so happy to find Robert in the attic. But her delight soon turned to panic when she claimed that Robert the doll was alive and he wanted to hurt her. So she would wake up in the middle of the night to find that Robert had moved. So many people believe that Robert's origins and, you know, all the evil things that people associate with him was by the person that originally gave him to Gene Otto, the servant. the woman who gave the doll to Jean was supposedly mistreated by her boss, and to punish them, she cursed the doll with either voodoo or black magic, or voodoo and black magic. So that would explain all the frightening and mysterious experiences that people are having with this doll for sure. But if so, wouldn't the haunting end when the owners passed away? No one really knows for sure, but one thing's for certain, Robert the doll continues to taunt and scare people away, including where he now resides in the museum, as the people that work at that museum in Florida, I believe it's Key Fort, Florida, I think, Key West or Key, it's in Florida somewhere, I believe. People actually write to him and ask him for forgiveness, because even if you're at a distance, you still have to send a letter to him because he could still cause that much harm from a distance. That terrifies me. Out of all of these dolls, that's why I put him at number 1. Because there's no way that I would want to disrespect that doll. Anyways, you guys, that is the top 5 most haunted dolls in the world. So what do you guys think? Is there anything else that you wanted me to add to the list? I know there's another one. I think her name is like Peggy the doll. My friend knows about her, so I might do a separate video on her. I also wanted to do a separate video on Lily specifically, because I'm going to have my own Lily soon. Anyways, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!